I started noticing some swelling in my hands and just overall achiness that I just couldn't figure out. Thought it would go away, so I ignored it. And I noticed that it was just getting worse and worse, and then my legs were swelling. So I went to my doctor, and she referred me on, and nobody could figure out what was wrong. I didn't fit the bill for anything specific, and all the symptoms were just pretty vague. So I just tried to deal with it. So I kept trying to find doctors, and after seeing 9, I finally got a diagnosis of scleroderma, which is pretty rare. 1 in 300,000 people get scleroderma.
We saw this noticeable decline in Sandee from October, almost daily, going down a little bit. By Christmas, we knew she was seriously sick. I think by the time April and May came around, we were pretty certain that we were losing Sandee. It was pretty apparent that there wasn't much anyone could do, and that we were just going to have to watch her waste away and lose her. And it was very difficult because she was such a vibrant, lovely, vivacious woman, and it was heartbreaking every day to see how she struggled to get to work every day and struggled to take care of her family and to be the woman that she used to be, and it just wasn't every day was harder. Every day was harder.
In the middle of the night, I started feeling like I couldn't breathe. And I got up and I walked around the house and I tried to shake it off, and I could feel my lungs filling up with fluid. Minute by minute. I mean, I was just getting worse and worse. And I tried to wake my husband up, and I told him, I said, I can't breathe. And he was half asleep, and he just said, come here and I'll hold you. And I couldn't do that because I couldn't breathe. So I went downstairs and I emailed Dr. Fisher. And it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. Well, he was actually in Florida, so with the time change, he got the email. And he emailed me back, and he told me, I think he tried to call me, but I didn't answer the phone, but he told me to get to the hospital. And by then, it was getting pretty bad, so I just picked up my keys and went to the hospital. I didn't even tell Michael. I didn't tell anyone. I was going into respiratory failure. And it was progressing very fast. And within hours, I was intubated. And they told Michael, when he got there, and he was there with the whole process, they told him, once I was intubated, that there was a 50-50 chance that I would survive. That was really hard on everybody. They had me in and out of an induced coma, so when they'd bring me to consciousness and I'd look around the room and I'd see everybody, it amazed me that so many people were there rooting for me, praying for me. And I wasn't sure myself which direction I was going.
Right after you had been awake and talking to everybody, and I think you were just resting, and Mother said, we need to get Chandler out of here. We need to get him out of the hospital. We need to get him something to eat. Something good to eat that's not just hospital food. And that's when she said, I'm just gonna go to the ladies' room, and then we'll get out of here for a few hours. And that's when she had her episode. And like I said, we were lucky. We were very lucky. She was in the hospital. I think we avoided a massive heart attack on that day at that time. And from that time on, for about 10 days, I think I had Mother on one floor and Sandee on another floor, and I just stayed in the hospital.
I actually was released from the hospital the day before Mom was. That's when Dad called.
Yeah.
Said she was gone. It was just too much. Her heart couldn't take everything she was going through.
Yeah. It was very sudden.
Yeah, she took a nap.
Yeah.
She came home from work and took a nap, and then Dad came in to wake her, to show her the thunderstorm that was happening outside, because
Thunder and lightning.
He loves it, and it was exciting to him, and he wanted to show her. And he said she looked so peaceful, and he said, "Joanne, you're missing the storm." And then he went closer, and she never moved.
Yeah.
And he tried so hard,
Yeah.
to revive her, and it was too late. And that was the worst day of my life. We were cleaning out her desk just maybe a couple weeks after, and found a card addressed to me, just Sandee at the front, and Terry handed it to me because you're the one who found it. And I opened it up, and wow, it was something. The card itself was very meaningful, but what she wrote in it was that she wished there was something she could do to take my place, to take the pain away, and that the only person to turn to before her would be God. And I believe she made a deal with God to take her instead of me. I ended up in and out of the hospital for the entire month of July. In fact, just to even go to my mom's funeral, I had to leave against medical advice. That was a big deal. It's a university hospital, they didn't like that. I told him I'd come right back when the funeral was over. So I was actually only out of the hospital for, I think, 2, maybe 3 days. And I came back, and they said I was in kidney failure. I was actually, what they told me, within 48 hours of dying because I was so toxic. And they started dialysis immediately when I came in the hospital. And I was on dialysis for a total of 2 years. Home dialysis wasn't the worst thing in the world. I think I had just gotten used to it for doing it.
Well, you got used to it. I never got used to it.
I know.
I never got used to it. I never got used to the tubing that you had coming out of your abdomen. Never got used to some of the problems that you had with that from day to day.
Yeah. It took 9.5 hours, but I could do it at night while I was sleeping. I had a tube coming out of my abdomen that went to my peritoneal cavity, and I hooked it up to the tubing that was hooked up to the dialysis machine, and we had 1,100 milliliters of fluid hanging in 3 different bags that would cycle through my peritoneal cavity 5 times throughout the night. And I had tubing from me to the machine for 9 hours. I wasn't a candidate for a bone marrow transplant because of the kidney failure. And so she said, well, give her a kidney. And we went through the testing, and Terry was a match, and we just had to wait for the date.
Yeah, and once we found out I was a match, we also found out I was about 20 pounds too heavy to donate. So I set to working on losing that weight. I made weight about 3 days before surgery, actually.
And you did the bulk of it pretty quick.
Yeah. I'm just amazed to have my sister back. Her energy, her sparkle. She is a young woman. Her children are still young. I mean, really.
Yeah.
And it's nice to know that they're going to have their mom for a good long time.
Yeah, I feel fantastic. I've got my sister's kidney just thriving inside of me, just like I never missed a beat. Couldn't believe how fast everything started coming back to normal, returning. The color in my face, my energy, my strength. Once I recovered from the actual surgery part, I had a hard time with those doctors' restrictions. They were holding me back. I wanted to do everything, but I'm following the rules. I do play by the rules. I'm not overextending, and I want to get back to my golf swing, and they said chipping and putting is all I can do right now, no full swing. The Scleroderma Foundation has an annual walk to raise funds for scleroderma research, and the local chapter had their walk on June 15th, and our surgery was just at the end of May.
Right.
So our goal was to get to that walk, and we both made it. We made it to the walk on June 15th. We couldn't walk.
But we went.
We were there.
I don't feel any ill effects from having given her the kidney. Had a couple of weeks where I had more pain than I was expecting, but then I had to remind myself it was major surgery.
We really want to support living donation. We really want to see if we can help persuade, or at least the awareness of what you can do for somebody else's life. You can give them their life back.